So about 6 months ago, I bought this Bentley Continental GT. A car that used to cost over £150,000, and I bought it just for £3,000. At the time I was thinking that it's gonna be a straightforward fix, but that was old me talking, because I never worked on a Bentley before, and honestly I had no idea what I'm getting myself into. What I thought is gonna be an easy and quick repair turned into one of the most complicated builds that I ever attempted on this channel. I hope that today is the day when we can finally install the last puzzle of this car and get this car completed. Spoiler alert, well, it didn't go well. So first, let's check what we still need to fix on this car. So the problems we still got with this car: the spoiler cable on this side doesn't work, so we need to figure out how to fix it. The bumper in the back doesn't line up. The air suspension in the back all the time drops out, but we checked the shocks, they're all good, so that means we need to remove the bumper and inspect the air compressor. The cluster of the car, it doesn't work properly because the screen in the middle, it shows just a nonsense. We're still missing the arch lining in this side and the doors. We need to fix the doors properly. And I read some comments, I know what I've done wrong, so think I prepared them-ish. So we will need to cover all the car, remove the wing mirror again, remove all the trimming, and then repaint those doors so it would match the color of the car. The other bit that I'm still missing is this tiny cap in the bumper, which I do not have yet. I ordered it, it arrives from the China, so that cap will have to wait. The last bit is gonna be for this car is wash it, polish it, and get ready for a MOT. And one last thing is I need to change the track control arm on this side, because when we were stowing this car from the grass, I actually kind of damaged one of the suspension components, so we will need to change that. We're not far from finishing this car and finally started to drive it. And this car taught me quite a lot, to be honest, because I never touched a Bentley before and I had no idea what I'm doing, but somehow we managed to fix this car. Now it starts, now it drives, it doesn't have a fault on the ECU, and it's just a few things left. So let's jump straight in the video and start working. The cool stuff I want to show you is DCA tools. So they was kind enough to send me a grinder, because they spotted on my videos that I keep using my cheap Pauker grinder, which has a wire, and this one has a battery, so it's gonna be way easier to work with the cordless tools instead of, you know, dragging the cables every single time. So the best thing where I found it is, if you take this out, look how many discs you're gonna get if you're gonna buy one of their grinders. I'm already using the impact drill that they sent me for, I don't know, 3 months, and I'm still saying to all my friends, this is one of the best tools that I ever had. And it's not about that they sponsored me and sent me out their product. It's about the quality that they're making, and they want to show that you don't need to pay a lot of money to get a decent tool. You just need to choose the right company for it. And your company is definitely a DCA. So if you want to get any tools from DCA or even this grinder, I'm gonna leave the link down below in the description, and you can get yourself a grinder, impact tool, ratchet. Oh, they're doing so many tools. Thank you DCA for sending me this grinder and sponsoring today's video. And I hope we're gonna continue partnership in future projects. One of the best things about this grinder is that it's all solid, it isn't wobbly, and it sounds pretty good. Sounds very powerful, and it also light and very comfortable on the hand. They well balanced this. Nice work, nice work. That's a decent tool, I like. You remove the back bumper first, and how to do it, honestly, have no clue. I definitely do not know how is the rear bumper takes off. I'm assuming it's gonna be held by a couple of bolts on this side and that side, and there's gonna be plenty of other bolts underneath. How it's gonna be, no idea. But I think we need to remove the back wheels to have an access underneath and to access those 2 bolts on each side. So let's just do it. Right, let's try and get this bumper off. First things first, the car needs to be in the air. So let's get the jack under it, lift the rear up and get the both wheels off. With the wheels out of the way, we should finally have an access to the bolts hiding up to the corner of the bumper. Alright, those corner bolts are now out, but the bumper still isn't moving. Which usually means one thing, there are definitely more bolts hiding somewhere. So after a bit of YouTubing and digging through a couple of forums, I found out where the rest of them are. They're actually hidden behind the taillights, which means tailors have to come out first. Hopefully after that the whole thing will slide off without breaking a bunch of plastic clips in process. To remove the back bumper, what you need to do, you need to remove the taillights, and then you're gonna have 3 230 torques one side and another 3 230 torques other side. So make sure you're gonna do that, otherwise you're gonna break the bumper, because I nearly break it, because I wasn't honestly thinking there's gonna be bolts behind the taillights. Live and learn. All right, let's undo those 6 bolts and try to get the bumper off. Right, we got one issue. So the guy that I bought the brackets from, and he got mixed up by the brackets, because I had those ones are fine, those brackets over there, but the brackets that I need is those, because I have no idea why they decided that they're gonna cut off those brackets, and they cut it off on both sides. So that means the car is gonna stay without a bumper for a while, because there's no point putting the bumper back, as I will need to change the brackets anyway. Other thing, I need to remove the diffuser, because that's where the air compressor sits, and I need to check if there's any leaks over there. Again, it's pretty simple procedure, couple of 10mm bolts, and it should pop off very easily. And then maybe we're gonna find that leak where it annoys me every single time when I see the car. It's all the time down on the back. So let's get it fixed. Finally, after fighting with some rusty bolts, I got access to the compressor itself. So that's the air compressor lines over here. So if I would spray soapy water, I'm assuming there's gonna be some leaks over here. So let's check it, if we got any leaks from here. If not, then we might have an issue. We will need a diagnostic tool for that, because we need to turn on the air compressor, otherwise it's not gonna work, as the car is lifted in the air and the air suspension now is turned off. So we definitely need to turn on it. So everything is now sprayed with soapy water, and I got the diagnostic tool plugged in. And wondering, right, the reservoir pressure currently is 7.8 bar. Ensure the reservoir pressure is greater than please ensure reservoir pressure is more than 10 bars. Okay, so I need to fill it up, the air suspension. Then we're gonna see if there's any leaks. We do not have any leaks in here, which is not good, because that means it's something to do with the shocks itself. So I need to remove the arch lining again and spray it and hope that I'm gonna find that leak. Oh no. So that means I need to check what's going on with this air compressor thing. Well, not air compressor, it's probably gonna be with the shocks. In the meantime, I can reinstall the diffuser back in a place, put some extra bolts in here because I was missing some bolts, and then we're gonna remove one of the suspension arms that is bent, it's that one. And afterwards, we're gonna take out the arch lining and spray it again with the soapy water, because this is not ideal to have the car with a dropped air suspension, so we need to sort this out. So I need to take this banana out. I'm nearly like 100% sure there is gonna be a proper nightmare to take it out, because the bolts are rusted, and this car is not a brand new, it's a 2005, so it's nothing to expect. So let's try to untighten it and remove it. Now, I thought this one is going to be a real fight, but surprisingly, the bolts actually came loose pretty easy. A bit of pressure on a breaker bar and they cracked free without too much trouble. But of course, that was an easy part. Now, I still need to get them out. And with its curved banana shape, there is barely any room to put it out of the subframe. So at this point, there was only one option left, the grinder, and plan was to cut it through and free it from the mount. But that turned out to be a bit of a mistake. As you can probably see, sparks went everywhere and I actually managed to damage my camera in the process. Probably now you see that a little line or a fade on the side because I just damaged my camera. Anyway, I managed to take it out, the old banana suspension arm, and we can install the other one in a place, tight it up, and everything with the suspension is going to be sorted. So it's kind of going to be ready for MOT. Other thing what we're going to be doing, I need to replace the cluster. So let's install this, replace the cluster, and I need to figure out where it leaks. Now it's time to install the new track control arm. And the good news is this one is straight, unlike the old banana shaped arm. This one should slide back into place much easier. So with a bit of maneuvering, it lines up with the mounting points and goes in without nearly as much fight as getting the old one out. I know I should really be fixing the air suspension on this car, but I'm very curious to check if this cluster is gonna be working on that car. So let's get the old cluster out and install the new one. And the reason why I'm changing the cluster, I'm gonna show it to you because it's a bit annoying. All of the cluster in here is pixelated. So I'm hoping that this cluster is not going to be pixelated and I'm going to see all the messages that the car says to me. Because now I cannot read anything and I have no idea what the car says. Right, first thing first, I need to figure out how to remove this panel. I'm just hoping there's going to be like on a clips. Right, so I'm hoping it's going to be just like peeling off job. And it's not going to be anything too difficult. Right, like I said, just peeling off. And now I see two bolts that are T30. So I can take those bolts out and take the cluster out as well. Sorry to interrupt this video, but I have to share very important stuff with you. My website. So I released my merchandise and some keychains and the YouTube community post and the air freshness. Everything is in my website. So click the link down below in the description. Get yourself a hoodie, t-shirt, keychain or air freshener. Or if you want to be on the YouTube community post, like all of those cool people, you just need to drop me a pound and I'm going to write your name on this post and I'm going to shout your name out loud while I'm filming. So I think it would be a good idea to read all the names that we got already on this post. So we got Stefan Haler, Donald Bugu, David Mackay, Neda, Tony Chucker, Paul Dolly, Andrews, Austria Properties, Sim Burke, Ralph Olapido, David Harvey, Cast43 Photography, Andy Brown, Andrew Dickens, Pavel, Alexander, Jim, Stella Fox, Stardust, Grajudas, Terry Stenner, David Borlow, Simon Kerav, Peter, Ralph Shuren. Dude, sorry, but I still cannot pronounce your name, so you're gonna be Hammer. My hammer. Knee hammer. I think it's a Kiewit hammer. Kiewit knee hammer. Newton Randa, Joseph Clark, Rob Blarby, Drake, Sharunas, Bob, Rose, Imrai, Paul, Christopher Rohn, Mantidas, Saidi Kingui, Newton Renda, Jersey Pete, from USA, Mark Ho, Mick H, David Drake, Liam Moore, Jay from Surrey, House of Cars, Pons UK, Siran Vat, David Walker, Andre Darren. Thank you guys for joining this YouTube community post. A long time ago, I think I might change this post and instead of YouTube community post, it's going to be YouTube community wall. Let me know what you think. It would be a better idea to move all the names instead of the post, move it onto the wall, or just keep it onto a post. And yes, I know, I need to clean this post because I kind of was using as my painting template for some time. Now it should just pop it off. If you're enjoying the rebuild and want to see this car go from wreckage to the road ready again, make sure you hit that subscribe button. There's still a lot more work to do and you don't want to miss the next part of the build. Trust me, it only gets more interesting from this part. Right, then that being said, we can continue and reinstalling the new cluster back in place. And finally, I'm gonna be able to read what the car actually has to say to me. Screen works perfectly. Now let's check if anything else works. Oh yes, please. That looks much better. So much better. The image is clear now, because before I couldn't even read anything. And to be honest, the mileage on it is 110, and on my one, it was 116. I think so. I need to double check, but I think it was pretty much close. And I'm really sorry again for the cameras scratched in here. Well, it's not scratched, it's the glass just broke on the camera, so I will need to repair it, but for this time it will have to stay in here. So as the cluster is working perfectly with no issues at all, I can reinstall everything around it, and the other part that I will need to order it is this, like a cover piece, because my one, it just, well, it had a hole before, so I made a bigger hole. Let's just say that. Right, so the cluster has been now installed. I can carry on working on an air suspension. And trust me, this is not one of the favorite things that I would like to do, because it's a bit of nightmare to get the shocks out. But I'm gonna do it quickly, this off camera, and I'm gonna share with you if I'm gonna find something interesting. The only thing what I find it out, that when you're spraying here, it's actually starting to bubble on a shock absorber in here, but that's on the left side. I'm not really actually sure from which side it starts to drop. So what I'm gonna do on this side, I'm gonna replace every single O-ring on a suspension, and that's hopefully gonna help it, because I'm running out of ideas why the air suspension leaking. Maybe it needs a programming or something, they would keep it up the same height. Anyway, it's not gonna be worse that I'm gonna replace the O-rings in here. So let's install the new O-rings and hope for the best. You need to replace the O-ring on the rear left shock. That's the little seal that keeps the air inside, and if it fails, the air suspension slowly leaks out. So the plan is simple. Swap the old O-ring for the new one, and hopefully that will seal everything properly again. Once that's done, I can reinstall the shock back into the car, reconnect the air lines, and get the system back together. Now that's a real test. We'll be leaving the car overnight, and hopefully this small repair does the trick and the suspension actually holds the air instead of dropping back down every single morning. And trust me, to access that air line in the top next to the air compressor's tank is not an easy task. You need to be patient with that and just give it a little time. As if you're gonna rush it and you're not gonna put it one of the air lines correctly in a position, you might damage the thread and also the O-ring, which wouldn't be ideal for this car. Right, so I replaced the O-rings everywhere, and now it does not leak at all. So I'm hoping that's gonna be the case, that it was only the O-rings. So now I can reinstall the arch lining. I'm probably gonna see in the morning if the car is still on the ground or it's raised up. If not, then probably we have an issue somewhere else. Right, so far air suspension is kinda okay. How it's gonna hold, I have no idea, but we'll have to wait till it's gonna be a morning. So see you in the morning. And it's a morning. It holds pressure. So that means that was the only O-ring that I needed to change. The air suspension is now sorted. We can carry on working on other stuff, because I got a few things that I need to install in the engine bay. So let's go. Stays installed, air suspension kind of sorted. I can start reassembling the engine bay. So I need to put one more metal bracket, change the air filters, install the arch lining. And then there's gonna be only painting the doors and putting the bumper back on the new brackets, obviously if they're gonna arrive. Right, next up I need to lift this lock a little bit up, same with this one, because it doesn't want to close. And also I need to push this wing a little bit to the side and hope that the gap in here is gonna be different than in here. And yeah, this looks absolutely trash, but oh well. Right, so if I would undo those bolts over here and that bolt here, Same here on this side. I should be able to lift all this a little bit up. First, I need to lift the bonnet latches slightly. At the moment, every single time when I close the bonnet, I really have to push it down hard just to get it locked, which obviously isn't ideal. So I'm hoping that by adjusting the latch and lifting it slightly, the bonnet will close and lock properly without forcing it. With that sorted, I can move on to reinstalling the metal plate at the front. It's the panel that hides all the airbag wiring and cleans up the look of the engine bay. It's mostly cosmetic piece, but for some reason Bentley decided it needs about 25 bolts to hold it in place. So if that's how they build it, I guess we need to get it back together as it was originally. And finally, the air filters. I actually held off replacing it earlier in the build because I wasn't sure how far this project was gonna go. But now that we're getting close to the end of this saga, it finally makes sense to put a fresh ones in. Right, everything in the engine bay is now done. That's it. I hope I won't need to open the bonnet again. The only thing that is gonna be left is just to clean everything up so everything would look nice and tidy. But now, at the moment, it's gonna be fine like this. I'm still short of quite a few of the bolts in here. Do not have any of those bolts left, so I will need to order them or I don't know, get somewhere. But that, the engine bay is starting to look much better. I'm still waiting for the cabin filters, so I do not have them, but I will change it. Now I can put the arch lining on this side. You can install the last part on this car. Well, kinda last, because we still do not have the bumper brackets. They should arrive this week. I'm really hoping that. We can install the arch lining and paint the doors again. The next step, front arch lining. The reason I didn't install this earlier is because I was trying to hunt out the cheaper one. A brand new one costs around £250 and even used ones usually go over 200, which is pretty crazy for a piece of plastic. So I kept searching and eventually managed to pick up this one for £100, which in this build definitely counts as a win for my bank account. The arch lining now is installed, so I can take the jack away. And you probably noticed that the video quality is a little bit better because I accidentally damaged the lens. Well, it's literally shattered by just trying to clean that crack and it shattered. So I took the glass out and now I have to use wide angle attachment. So I hope you're seeing everything well. I think now we can take the door card out. We can take the mirror out and all the chrome bits, tape the car around it and paint it again. Wish me good luck. Also, I got one more trick on my sleeve, how to clean all of this. But first, I want to take out the wing mirror, prime the doors, leave it to dry, and then I'm gonna try that trick to clean all of this. I hope it's gonna work. Probably you already know how to remove the door card, so I'm just gonna... Done. Next step, I need to get window regulator off, and then I need to have an access to this panel so I could remove the wing mirror itself. So that means there's gonna be some screws in here. That is only, what is it? That's T25. So I'm doing a pretty easy way because some of the people, they like untighten it, then tighten a couple of bolts, then lower it down, lowering up. I think this way is easier, just to remove this, use the pliers and get the window down. Right, all of this is done. Now I need to just disconnect the mirror itself. 2 plugs, nothing too complicated. I hate those plugs because they're like opposite sides. So instead of pushing the plug, you need to pull it. If I explain it right. You can lower the window now down. That's up, that's down. Right, window down. Now I can remove this trim. Next step, the middle, this trim. Then I need to get to the bolts that holds this window. So those bolts are literally here. And I think one more is over here. One bolt is inside, and probably this one is going to be as well. Next up, this one slides down, 10mm on an extension. Honestly, when you've done it once, it's super easy to do it again. Because the last time I was struggling to find the access to those bolts, and now it's nothing too complicated. You know what it worries me? That this window, that small window, is getting white. So it's possible that I will need to change it in the future, and it's getting white in the bottom and it's quite going rapidly. So let's hope it's not gonna affect a lot. Oh, it's down. Okay, whatever. I will fish this one out later on. You know what I just thought about? How I'm gonna get the car inside without a mirror. That's gonna be a challenge. Okay, now I need to get that bolt out, put this one in, lift the window up, tape everything around it, and we're gonna start sanding. Right, so everything is kind of back in a place how it was before, just it's without a door card and any trimming around. So that means we can tape everything around it, start sanding it, and then afterwards bring it back to the garage, paint it, and hope for the best. So what I want to do now is literally just to sand it and put the primer on. So it dries outside with the primer, and then when we're gonna be ready for the paint, we're gonna go into the garage. But this time I'm gonna properly clean the garage before I'm doing any painting in this. If you've been following this build from the very beginning, you know that the doors has been one of the trickiest parts so far. Early videos showed the struggles, the dents, and all other little issues that came up with. So now I'm really hoping to do it the right way and finally get them looking decent. The first step is sanding. I'm using a sanding machine to go all over the entire surface of the doors. The goal is to smooth everything out without making any new dents, which is always a delicate balance. This time I'm going with 800 grit sanding paper, fine enough to get smooth finish but still effective at removing imperfections. I've gone over every panel carefully, making sure I don't miss any spot. Sorry that I haven't filmed all the process because my camera decided to die. So the doors is now in a primer, everything is covered, there's minimal dust now in the garage because I blowed absolutely every single dust out of here, so I'm hoping that it's gonna be much less dust than it was before. So doors itself is now straight, and I have to thank every single person who advised me how to do it correctly. I learned it now. So next time when I'm gonna be doing any dents or something, I'm gonna know exactly how to fix the doors, because the mistake that I done, I sanded everything with a hand, and that's where I had a lot of dents everywhere. But after I used the block, somehow I managed to pull this one off nicely, and even now it follows the line. And to get that line, I just used normal tape. I put it from one edge to another edge and was putting the primer up to that edge where the tape is. And afterwards I just sand it off, remove the tape, sand it a little bit in the top, and it's, here we go, we got a line. I hope this time I'm not gonna ruin the doors, and at least one of the doors gonna be without any runs or any dents, hopefully. If they're still gonna look terrible like they was before, I will do it again. I was planning now to clean the doors, but I just remembered one thing. All the stuff that I bought to clean the door cards is over there. So that means I won't show you the trick. I will have to wait then now till it's gonna dry, and then afterwards we're gonna attempt to clean the doors properly. And now the moment of truth. Can I finally paint these doors myself? Can I get them look good enough so this car can actually hit the road looking good as it drives? The honest answer? I still don't know much about the bodywork as I'd like, and there's always a learning curves, but that's exactly why this build has been so satisfied. Every step is a challenge and every little win feels huge. Painting these doors is just a next chapter in the journey from wreck to road ready. Everything was going smooth until it's something react with something, and now I will need to sand it again. Oh well. I have no idea what happened. It's not a clear coat, it's just a base coat, but it definitely reacted with something. Right, in the meantime, while the paint is gonna dry, again, I'm gonna drop off the steering wheel to my friend's house and he's gonna restore it. Also got one more panel to restore and paint. Because as you know, the steering wheel that I got already, it's, well, it doesn't suit the rest of the car. It's definitely needs restoring, and one of the panels, instead of black, it's beige. Maybe the color is not gonna match exactly, but the good thing is, as one of the panels that I got at the moment, it's for the passenger side, and it's for the like a knee panel or something like that. It's like a leather, and it's beige, so we're just gonna get it black, and it doesn't even matter if it's gonna match the color or not, because nobody ever gonna see that panel. Also, I got a co-pilot that falls asleep in 2 minutes, and he said he wants to keep daddy's company. That's my company. So this is Erica's, and he's gonna be fixing this steering wheel. So Erica's, tell me, what is the procedure to sort this out?
It's very simple. All of this leather will need to be sanded down. It's gonna have to be recolored. It's gonna have to be primed as well, and then finishing clear coat on it. A nice satin finish.
Nice satin finish. And what about this panel?
Yes, so same thing. It's gonna have to have some filler in it, and yeah, just same case, just recolor it and put a clear coat on it.
So there's a special filler to like fill the holes for the leather.
Yeah, you can usually to make it quick, you can get a nice leather glove or something, and then you can by hand just fill in the cracks, the little scuffs. You can feel that it's been keyed and everything. But yeah, you can fill them in and then just paint over it.
Oh, perfect. That's nice to know. And if the people would like to, let's say, get their steering wheel sorted out or anything, any other panel, how they can find you?
They can find me easily. I have an eBay website. It's called Retrofit Parts. You can easily find me. I do loads of retrofits for steering wheels, clusters and stuff like that. So you can just find me Retrofit Parts on eBay. Very easy. I'm
gonna drop the link down below in the description, so you can, if you want any, you know, any steering wheel sorted, anything. So drop him a message, and I believe he's gonna sort you out. Right. So the steering wheel is now with Erica's, and I'm assuming he's gonna sort this out. We can go back to the garage and check what's going on with those doors. Well, I know what's going on with the doors. I will need to sand them and fix it. So I was talking with a few guys. One of them said that it could be that it's a temperature different, and other one told me that the flash time 5 minutes wasn't enough. Probably next time I will need to heat it up the garage and leave it for at least 15 minutes to dry, because I had a timer for 5 minutes every single time, and probably on the last coat it just wasn't enough and it just happened. All right, so I just came back from the Erica's, dropping the steering wheel and sanded the doors. It looked terrible. And let's just say I put it another layer of primer and it happened again. But this time it started to bubble up and react in here. So I think I'm gonna start fixing those doors off camera, because I wouldn't watch myself to some random guy that he tries to paint the doors himself for another 10 videos. So I'm gonna attempt to fix this on my own off camera, and hopefully I'm gonna manage to pull this one off nicely. And we might bring this car for a MOT next week if all the rest of the parts is gonna arrive. Well, rest of the parts. We're talking about bumper brackets, so there's nothing too big. Thank you so much for watching this video. If you enjoyed, don't forget to click subscribe, like, share, and comment, and tell me why exactly this is happening. And I will see you in the next one.